Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. In case you didn't notice, this week has been full of Magic news, like a lot of it. Over the next couple of days, we're going to tackle it one step at a time. Of course, what better way to start doing that than talking about good old-fashioned confirmed Shadows over Innistrad spoilers. Now, spoiler season hasn't officially begun yet, but Dual Decks Blessed vs. Curse was just announced, and the full deck list revealed, including new cards. Without any further ado, let's jump right in. If you enjoy our spoiler coverage and want more of it, hit that like button right down there. Helps out a lot. Eerie Interlude is 3 mana for an instant. Exile any number of target creatures you control. Return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Ghostway in Standard? Scratch that. A better Ghostway in Standard. This card lets you choose the creatures you want to exile. Think about any collected company strategy right now. Reflector Mage, Catacomb Sifter, even something like Jace. Eerie Interlude is definitely going to find its way into whatever collected company strategy exists after rotation. Not only that, but I mean, come on! Commander players have to be freaking out. They get Eldrazi Displacer and now this. Rune players must be having a collective heart attack. Topplegeist is 1 white mana for a 1/1 spirit with flying. When it enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. It also has a new mechanic called Delirium. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, tap target creature that player controls. Topplegeist is hilarious, even on flavor alone. Look at it, it's just hovering around, knocking crap over. Genius card. Anyways, Delirium, sweet name by the way, is a new mechanic. You need 4 card types in your graveyard to activate it. So basically creature, instant, sorcery, and something else. As long as you can do that, this card is actually decent. Even without that, possibly decent in a white-black aggressive deck with Drana. You tap down a blocker and get some counters. It's pretty cool. Captain of the Mists is getting a reprint, but for those of you who don't know, 3 mana for a 2/3 human wizard. Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, untap the captain. You can also pay 2 mana and tap it to tap or untap target permanent. Not terribly exciting, but pretty sweet and limited. Lets you tap down something gigantic. Also plays really well in a few commander strategies, as zombie mainly. It's a cool card. Compelling Deterrence is 2 mana for an instant. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, then that player discards a card if you control a zombie. I love this. I've always been a fan of unsummon effects, but if you control a zombie, this is constructed playable for sure. It harkens back to Recoil, the invasion card that straight up lets you do this, but with more color restrictions. I think Compelling Deterrence is hilarious, and I'd love it to see constructed play, but it'll probably just stick to being great and limited, even if giving your opponent graveyard stuff is potentially beneficial. It's still good. Pour Over the Pages is 3 of anything and 2 blue for a sorcery. Draw 3 cards, untap up to 2 lands, then discard a card. Before we even get into this card, flavor text, quote, I'm certain that the fate of Markov Manor is connected to these cryptoliths. This Tameo was onto something. Wait, was onto something? She was onto something? What happened to Tameo? Oh my god, I'm gonna have a coronary. I need to find out what's happening in this set already, just please. Right, the card itself. Pour Over the Pages is sweet. 5 mana for 3 cards. You get to untap lands, so it's like that old broken Urza block cycle, but not as broken. And then you discard a card, possibly enabling Delirium, or using that untapped mana for Madness, a returning mechanic. We'll talk more about that later when more cards are officially revealed, but it lets you cast spells as you discard them. Seems pretty convenient. Pour is a great card. Mindwrack Demon is 2 of anything and 2 black for a 4/5 demon with flying and trample. When it enters the battlefield, put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. It also has Delirium. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 4 life unless there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard. Jeez, this thing is brutal. Also, that art is terrifying. Anyways, Mindwrack Demon synergizes with itself pretty well. You mill yourself in hopes of achieving Delirium, otherwise you lose 20% of your starting life total every turn. While the 4 mana 4/5 with flying and trample is pretty bonkers, losing 4 life a turn definitely is not. I could see this as a top end to some kind of aggressive constructed strategy. You're trying to kill them really quickly, right? Maybe you can afford to smack yourself in the face a few times to get a hit or 2 in. Also, and this may be the most important thing about the demon, we have another MOBA champion this time. Night Stalker from Dota 2. First we had Mundaz Rise, and now this. It's weird. Tooth Collector is 3 mana for a 3/2 human rogue. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard, target creature that player controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. There's so many amazing things about this card. First, look at that art. It brings me back to classic Magic art in a way, dark and really creepy. I love it. Second, the flavor is amazing. He pulls someone's tooth, but then when he becomes delirious, that's all he does, just goes around pulling teeth. He's a crazy guy. This could be a cycle with Topolgeist, but we'll have to wait and see. Either way, I love everything about Tooth Collector. It's fantastic. We got all these spoilers from the Dual Decks announcement. You know what else we got from that announcement? Some sick reprints. We'll begin with the one you're all freaking out about. Geist of St. Traft is coming back in the blessed half of the Dual Decks. It's pretty sweet. Alongside him, you get awesome throwbacks like Champion of the Parish, Emancipation Angel, and Increasing Devotion. In the Curse deck, zombies galore. You're looking at Gravecrawler, Harvester of Souls, Sever the Bloodline, and the new Mindwrack Demon. It's pretty exciting stuff. This dual deck is looking flavorful beyond reason. I definitely consider getting it for that reason alone. Gotta love them zombies. That's going to do it for Shadows over Innistrad spoilers. As more come out, whenever they come out, you can bet that we're going to cover them. Let me know in the comments how the cards look to you so far. Do you think Delirium is a cool mechanic? Are you pumped for the flavor of the set? I need to know your thoughts. Also, be sure to check back the rest of the week for some Eternal Masters coverage. I know a lot of you are asking questions and getting hyped for it. We're going to bring you some top 10 lists to really get the discussion going. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Shadows over Innistrad spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus, I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time. This video is sponsored by TCGplayer.com. While Shadows over Innistrad is coming out in a month, preparing for standard rotation is probably a good idea. Need Battle for Zendikar dual lands? They are stupidly cheap on TCGplayer.com. Prairie Stream is no more than $3 a piece. Cinderglade, $3 also. These lands are crazy cheap, and I would get them before the fetch lands rotate. You can never have enough dual lands. Click the cards in the video to support the channel and get some cheap lands.